Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of this channel called Patrick the Runner. My name is Patrick Sheridan and I'm here to talk about running. Before starting off, I just wanted to say again a big thank you to everyone who's been tuning in so far. Please do keep liking the videos if you've been enjoying them, because that really does help out the growth of the channel. Please also do keep leaving your questions and your comments in the comment section below, and please do consider subscribing if you haven't already, because that also helps out the growth of the channel, but it also helps other people to access the content. Moving on to the topic of today's video, I just wanted to show how I'm going about my preparation for the indoor season. That's the indoor track season, which is starting in January and which will probably carry on until mid-February 2024. And I wanted to show you all a race specific session that I did on Friday night, which is hopefully going to allow me to run those fast times in January and February. And really, my training over the last 2 or 3 months has all been done with the aim of preparing myself as best as I possibly can for this indoor season. But as I've explained before in videos, as you get closer to races and as you get closer to big goal races, you should be adding more specificity into your training to add to the base building that you've done over the previous 6 to 8 weeks, maybe, that you've been carrying out the plan or executing the training program that you've put in place. So that's really what I've been doing over the last 6 to 8 weeks. I've been doing a good bit of base building and a lot of threshold running and a lot of easy miles, a lot of steady miles too. But now I want to add a wee bit more specificity into my training, as I've said, and really get me ready for running fast times in the indoor track season. So I hope this video is helpful. Before actually going into that, I do just want to reiterate again that this type of race specific session is only a small element of my training, and it's only something that you do once you've got a good base. It's not something I do often. I know last week I did do quite a tough session as well and showed that on the video, and that was the hill session. But I think why I want to just stress that I don't do this often is because I know that the last 2 videos are going to show me working very hard, and I don't want to give off the impression that I train like a madman and that this is the only type of training I do, or that I train like this every day, because I absolutely don't. And these last 2 sessions that I've shown on the videos have actually been the hardest 2 sessions of the last 2 weeks. So I would only ever do a session like this once a week at most, maybe twice a week, but probably not. And I just wanted to again emphasize that this is only a small bit of the training, that the majority of my training is and consists of the easy miles, the steady running, the threshold work. And I know it's Christmas time and a lot of people are probably thinking about Christmas, so maybe if I could give an analogy, if you were to think about a Christmas cake, you could think of the easy miles, the threshold running, and the steady miles as the base, and the race specific stuff, what I'm really saying, like these race specific workouts that you're going to see over the next few weeks, is really the icing and the cherry on top. So it's not to be done until you've built your base, is effectively what I'm saying. And I hope that makes sense to everyone. I hope you do enjoy the video. I hope you do enjoy watching me doing the session, because at times I didn't enjoy it when I was running it. I did enjoy the session really, but I just mean it was very, very tough, and I hope you all find it informative as always, and I hope you can take something from it. So I'll leave it at that, and I'll get in now to the actual session I did on Friday night. So hope you all enjoy. Hi everyone, I'm here today at tonight I should say. It's a Friday night and I'm gonna do my track session for the week. This is the first track session I've done in about 4 months, like a proper track session, meaning where there's shorter intervals. As I've said before, I'm preparing for the indoor season, so I've hopefully got a couple of 800 meter and 1500 meter races in January and February, and that's what I'm getting ready to do. But the race specific stuff really starts now for me, and tonight the idea is to get a bit of speed work in the legs and to put myself through a race specific workout where I'm going to be running at race speed and a wee bit quicker. So I'm really looking forward to it. I should say actually also, I intended originally to do this session on a Saturday, but I just felt that Saturday actually wouldn't have worked out best, and I feel like sometimes I do my sessions on Saturday but they take up quite a lot of the day, and then I don't really get a chance to recover, and then I've got a long run on Sunday, which is quite taxing even when it is slow. So the idea tonight then is that I do the session on a Friday so that I can get a bit of extra recovery on the Saturday and just do an easy short run on the Saturday. And what I'm saying is that sometimes you should be flexible with your training, and you should try to think about what works best for you. A big thing in running is that a lot of club athletes and a lot of probably athletes competing at a higher standard than that, from my understanding anyway, is that they do their sessions mainly on a Tuesday and on a Saturday, and that's absolutely fine, and then a long run on a Sunday. But sometimes that doesn't always work for me, and that's not me saying I'm not going to run on those days. Always just try to think about what suits you best and what you're going to get the best results from. So that would be my advice there. Specifically, the session now tonight is 4x200 off 90 seconds, then a 3-minute break, then 4x400 off 3 minutes, and then a 4-minute break, and then 4x200 off 90 seconds. I'm going to try to do them as close to race pace as possible, and I'm going to hopefully do the 200s in about 29 seconds. I'm going to start off about 29, try not to go too much quicker than that, and then I'm going to try to do the 400s in about 61, which will hopefully be my race pace. That'll get me about 350 roughly, I think just under 350 for the 1500, and then the 200s again to finish. Again, just going to see how quickly I can go. It is quite windy here tonight, so that's good. That's also a good thing about the indoors. There's no wind to worry about, but it'll be a really good session. So hopefully all you guys enjoy it, and I'm going to do some stretching now, and then let's get started. Okay, so I'm putting on my spikes here. It's the first time I've put on my spikes, as I said, since the track season. So it's a pretty good feeling, because it always makes me a bit excited when I'm wearing spikes, because they're flashy and they help you run a lot quicker. So it's just always a good feeling when you get back on the track after the winter. And I say always a good feeling as if I've been running for that long, but I haven't. But even just from my childhood, I remember always after the cross country season really looking forward to get back into the track, and I'm just really excited about the indoor season. I feel good in my warm up there. Everything feels pretty smooth. I was running about 4-minute Ks. It felt a lot easier than my steady run felt last night at the same pace, so don't really know what that's about. As I said, sometimes it's just a case of sticking with it in the bad days, and in the good days sometimes you feel really good. So the hope tonight is that I do these first 4 200s, get back my pacing at that pace. So I'm going to be doing them at about 3:55 mile pace in 29s. So the hope is that that feels okay, and then that I can bang out these 400s in 61, and again that is something I'm able to manage. It's not going to feel comfortable, it's going to feel really hard. That's the point of the session, but hopefully I can at least sustain that speed throughout the duration of the session, and I'm really just looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to doing these strides now, and then hopefully you'll all see how I get along, how I get on. But yeah, so we're good to go in a minute. Okay, so I'm just about to start into my strides. I usually do about 4 by 75 meters, and the idea is just to get your legs opened up, to get a wee bit of speed in the legs, to think about your form, getting your knees high up, getting your feet kicking out at the back, and just really getting ready to run fast. And it's also good for preventing injuries because it means that your body isn't absolutely shocked once you go into these more speed orientated sessions, because that could really cause a hamstring injury or a groin injury or just any type of a muscular injury if you're not sufficiently warmed up. So that's definitely something I would recommend doing for those reasons I've just said. So gonna get into it now, and yeah, just looking forward to getting a wee bit of speed. Okay, so I'm just about to start the session now in 2 minutes or so. As I said, I'm starting with 4 200s. The wind is a bit on my side around this way in the first 200. So what I'm going to do, just to make sure I'm being honest with myself, is do 200. And usually I would do a jog recovery for the 90 seconds, but I'm just going to hang around there, jog a wee bit around there, and then I'll start the second one there. And then I'll do the same for the next set of 2, just so, as I said, that I'm getting the wind on my back and also the wind in my face, and then the 400s are obviously just a lap. So that's what the idea is, and let's see how I get on. Right, so that's 2 done. 90 seconds recovery. First 2 are in 26 there, which actually feels fine, so it's a good sign. That's what I felt I was trying to hold back a wee bit, so that is really good. But let's just see if I can keep it up, and yeah, see how we get on. Okay, so we did the 200s there. The third and fourth were 27 and 28, so I think it was a low 27 and a low 28 into the wind, so again, felt good. I'm starting to feel a bit of lactate in the legs there, but that's to be expected. And let's just see if I can get through these 400s in around 61. Okay, so first two 400s done. It's brutal, to be honest. The wind coming in there is treacherous, but I am getting it on my back out there, you just wouldn't know it. The first one was 59, the second was, I think, a low 62 or a high 61, but give or take, yeah, a second or two 61, probably a low 62. I was feeding it there, so it'll be interesting to see how the next couple get along. Just need to keep fighting, coming in, just pushing myself as hard as I can, and it's tough, but really just need to stay focused and push yourself through the pain barrier. That's what I need to do here, so let's see how I get on. Okay, so I've just done the 400s. They were very, very tough. The first one was 59 on the back straight. I could already feel my legs getting sore, getting very, very tired. The second was a high 61, low 62. The third was, I think, 62 something. The fourth was 64. So it was tough going, as you can see. I'm sure if you're looking at the video, it probably looks like I'm really, really struggling coming into the last straight, and that's because I was. And it was really, really tough coming into the wind, and also just the end of those is very, very difficult and very, very challenging. And I'm trying to tell myself those last 50 meters, for anyone who's done the 1500, you probably recognize this feeling, but I was really trying to tell myself to push on, and I just couldn't fight my legs. I felt like I was hardly able to stand up. So anyway, just as long as you know that I'm pushing myself, I'm giving it what I can, and I'm going to continue that for these last 4 200s, and let's just see if I can dip under 30 for each of them, and that'll be a good way to finish the session. It was a wee bit disappointing there, the 400s, just the way it dropped off, but I said I wanted 4 62s. I got a 59, a 62, a 62 and a 64, so there's nothing really to be annoyed at. I don't like making excuses, and I'm not someone who makes excuses in races, but sometimes you need to understand what conditions are like, and I can't compare this to when I was running in the summer because I just wasn't running into that headwind. So I can't be going home and thinking, right, what did I run those during the summer? I think this session has been going better than I did in July, but saying that, the wind there is it's just quite bad, and you do need to take that into consideration. Equally, if you're running sometimes and you're running with the wind on your back, you need to factor that in too, so you know, just things maybe to be aware of. Okay, so just about to start the 200s, 4 200s, so hopefully I'm talking to you all at the end because I feel like I'm about to collapse, but I'm sure I'll get there. I'll do my best. So that's the session done. Just to run through it again, the first set of 4 200s were 26, 26, 27 and 28 or something along those lines from memory. Then the 400s were 59, 62, 62, 64. Then the 200s there at the end were 230s and 229. So I left everything on the track. I'm absolutely exhausted. I could not have given any more. The hope again, and I know I say this a lot, but this is the point of training, is the hope now is that I can get the recovery on board and that I'll come back stronger and fitter from doing that. It really was a tough night to be running, but that's great to be able to do that, and it's great to know that I've now got that session under my belt. And for anyone out there who's wondering whether they should run and when the weather's not great, just get out and do it and you'll feel better for getting it done, because that was a really tough night. It's tough sometimes coming back from work and you feel a bit stiff, but I had to go out, get my stretching done, get the warm-up done, and it does feel really, really good to get out. But also lastly, I just wanted to say I wouldn't have been able to get this video done if it weren't for my girlfriend Megan videoing it and staying out in the freezing cold doing all those videos for those reps. I've been complaining after each one about how tired I am, but at least I've been running to stay warm, so that's why these videos happen, because Megan's helped me out. So just wanted to say a big thank you, and I'm sure you guys all appreciate the videos being done, so it's a team effort. And I just wanted to say again, thank you very much to Megan, and I hope you all really enjoyed watching that session. As I said, I'm always going to show the good sessions and the bad sessions. I would say on the whole that's a pretty good session. I would have rather the last 400 to be a bit quicker, but I give it everything, and I would far rather do that than get quicker each time knowing I had too much left in the tank. I'd rather give it all and then burn out a wee bit during the session, and I wouldn't even say it was a burnout, I just got a wee bit slower than save too much and then think that I didn't push myself hard enough, because there are some sessions where you should be doing it at a controlled effort and it's not all about going all out, but that was, and I'm glad I got it done. It was really, really hard, but I'll be better for it. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, so hi everyone. Just thought I'd give you a wee bit of an update. It's Saturday night, so it's the day after I did the session of 4 200s, 4 400s and 4 200s, and I just thought I would give you all a bit of an update as to how I'm feeling. And I'm feeling really, really bad here. I'm feeling good cardiovascular wise, but my legs are just in bits, and it's quite funny actually. I just feel like I hardly could get out the door. My legs, I know I say it all the time, but they feel like jelly, and it's just quite funny. It was just a tough session, and it was a really good session. The more I think about it now, the happier I am with it, because like I think I averaged just under 62 for those 400s, and that's nearly what I need. Now I know I had a good recovery, I had 3 minutes, but I also did that same session in the summer when I ran 3:58, and it was around the same, if not this time actually slightly quicker, and that was in the peak of the track season in the summer, whereas that was my first workout like that in about 4 months, and I was just really happy with myself. I'd been able to do that after not having had that speed work, and as I said, I hadn't done that work or any work of that type of nature in a while, so that was why I was really happy. And again, I just think it's really exciting, because I know myself how I can recover from sessions and how I can adapt, and I think I can do that pretty quickly. And I think it would be interesting to see if I did that session in about 4 weeks time how I would fare, and I think I would fare better. Also, it just is a factor. I'm definitely not someone who makes excuses, but the wind was a factor last night, and it's always harder running in the wind, even if that means halfway around the track you've wind and you've a headwind halfway and wind on your back halfway. It's still got to be harder than it would be otherwise if it just wasn't windy at all. The wind was really strong, so I feel like it was a really good session. Even though I was exhausted, I felt strong, and I know that probably sounds oxymoronic, but I felt that even though I was really fatigued and I was coming into the last 100 and I felt like I was going so slowly, but I was still hitting 62, 64, sorry, and the 59. Really was happening. I just think I'll get so much from that, and I'm really buzzing about the indoor track season ahead, and I just can't wait to get after it. I think I'm definitely in at least as good of shape now as I was in the summer, and I'm just ready to attack these races. It would be really good if I could get into a high quality race where there are people faster than me, and hopefully that could push me on to a really good personal best, and that would set me up really well for the rest of the season. So I'm really looking forward to that. I would also really like an 800 in. I feel like my first 200s yesterday were 26s. I think one of them might actually be a high 25, but it felt really good, and I don't mean it in a boastful sense, but I wasn't really going for it. I was obviously just fresh at the start, and I felt like I was running more conservatively. That's just how I felt, and I was still hitting the 26s, and I know it's only 200 metres, but I just feel like I've got a good bit of speed in the legs, as I always do. But if I can just improve my lactate tolerance, the amount of lactic acid that I can tolerate and get rid of quicker, which I think will happen over the process of the next 4 to 6 weeks, I really think I'll be in a position to get close to 350 for the 1500, and I'm just really buzzing about that. So yeah, just thought I would let you guys know how I'm getting on. Also, I know I had mentioned yesterday that I decided my session would be done on a Friday night instead of a Saturday because I thought it would help my recovery, and I think it has. I was able to get a lie in this morning rather than rushing out on Saturday morning really to the track that was 30 miles away, and I felt like that's just really going to facilitate my recovery, and I felt like I had decent sleep last night. I'm going to get into bed at a good time tonight, and I'm really just excited about the session I did, and I'm really looking forward to just get those gains from it, and I think I will. I'm really excited now about the next session I do. If you haven't already noticed, I really do like running on the track, and I really do like running in general, but I'm really excited about the indoor season. As I was saying there, the 200s did feel really good, and the 200s did feel really good, but I just think that I would actually really like to get an 800 in, preferably even before the 1500, and I definitely think I'm in shape where I could go below 155 at the minute, and hopefully again in 4 to 6 weeks it'll be even quicker than that. But the minute my PB is 158 from last year, it was my only 800 race, and I just think I'm in the type of shape where I could run quicker than that, and that would be a really good start to my indoor season. I think it's possible that the first race might be an 800, which would be really good, and if I could just get around 155, it'd be really good. And my training for the next few weeks is going to be focusing on keeping up that threshold work, but doing it slightly differently, doing slightly shorter intervals at so-called threshold pace, but doing them slightly quicker because they're shorter. So like 400 meter intervals, 800 meter intervals. I'll still be doing my standard threshold workouts, like a tempo run at least once every 14 days, and once a week I'll be doing like 3x2 mile or 5x2k or something like that. So that endurance work is still going to be kept up, but I'm just going to have a tough session once every 10 days or so, or once a week, and I feel like my body will recover from that and I'll get fitter and stronger from it. That's obviously what it's all about. I think lastly again, what I just would reiterate to people, and it is only my advice, so take it or leave it. As I said, I'm not a qualified coach, I'm a solicitor, and I think that also, due to the nature of my profession, means that I do have limitations with my time, and I get the training in that I want to do, and I don't think I need to be doing more miles than I am at the minute. But what I mean is that sometimes my job is unpredictable, in that I could be working very late when a couple of days before that I wasn't expecting to. So that means I might need to rejig things a wee bit,
and do a wee bit of rescheduling just to make sure that I'm getting the benefits of the work that I'm doing, and just to make sure that my body's ready to do the sessions when I'm doing them. Because if you're not ready for them, you probably won't be able to absorb the training that you're doing, and you're just going out and running for the sake of getting something done. And a lot of the time that's great, but particularly if you're going for a hard interval session, you want to do yourself justice, and when you're putting in the time, you also need to make sure you're being smart with your training and that you're actually going to make the necessary adaptations that you're looking to make, and you need to give yourself the best chance of doing that. And I think the best way of doing that is making sure that you're fully recovered from the last session. So if that means doing an easy run instead of an actual session and putting the session off to the next day, sometimes that's absolutely fine, and that's the way to go about it. And they're saying that there's loads of days where I really don't feel great, but in those days I do what I intended to do, and that's really important too. A lot of days I just feel tired and don't want to run, but I force myself to, because in a race sometimes I might want to stop, but you have to push your body to places your head maybe doesn't want to take it, and you have to fight with your own mind to tell yourself that you can go through this pain. And I really like that, to be honest. I really like that aspect of running. I really like that challenge, and yeah, that's what does excite me about it. But basically what I'm saying is, you do sometimes have to be flexible with your training and with your planning, and you should always take that into consideration when you're going out and you're running, and when you are planning your own program or making up a schedule for yourself. That is what my recommendation would be. Okay, so just another thought I wanted to share with you on my Saturday night recovery run here, and I'm doing 6 mile if I didn't say it already, is that I think sometimes people in general, I know people that I know, some of whom are disciplined, some aren't very disciplined, but one thing I think people do have a tendency to do, and this may resonate with you, it may not, but people have a tendency to drop off the training during the winter, and particularly in the build up to Christmas, when people are eating more food, more junk food, maybe they're taking more alcohol, maybe they're just being less disciplined in a general sense with various aspects of their life. But I think it's really important that you tell yourself, particularly if you're planning for a race or if you're just trying to get fit, you should really stick to the training during the winter, especially if you've worked hard in the summer. You owe it to yourself to keep it up, but especially if you're training for the track season, or if you're training for a race a few months away or a marathon a few months away, tell yourself that you have to put the work in now. I think there's a phrase in like the fitness industry, the strength and conditioning industry, that summer bodies are made in winter, but it's the same with running. You really need to make sure that you're conditioning your body in the winter so that it's going to allow itself to run the times you want it to run in the spring and in the summer. And you really owe it to yourself, as I keep saying, to do that. Like, I was running last night and I was thinking sometimes during it, this is so tough, I can't wait till this is over. But I was also thinking, no, stop whining. You're out here, you're running, you're healthy. It's a sign of your vitality that you can push yourself to the extreme limit, and I'm privileged to be able to do that, and I love doing that, and I'll never drop out of a session unless I feel like I'm really ill, or it's never happened before, unless I get injured, which is a different thing. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you just need to dig in. My hands were really cold last night, and I was really hurting. It would have been really easy for me to say when I was leaving the office at about 6:30, oh, I'll not do this tonight because it's late and it's a Friday. But I would never allow myself to do that, because I want to achieve things. And a long-term goal I have, I don't know how long it'll take me. Maybe I'll get close in the next 6 months. Maybe it'll take 18 months. Maybe it'll take a couple of years. But a lifetime goal I have is to run a 4-minute mile and to dip under 4 minutes. And I was thinking when I was doing those sessions last night that the day, hopefully, I run a 4-minute mile is not going to feel easy. And I'm going to have to push myself really, really hard. So I need to do that now in order to give myself a chance. I need to get uncomfortable, and I need to make myself comfortable being uncomfortable, to use the cliche, but it's so true. And also sometimes you have to think, when you're really digging in, when you're really hurting, that you're doing something really good for yourself. And what else would you be doing if you weren't doing that? You'd be sitting at home watching TV, or I don't know, you'd be out somewhere talking to some people in a bar, or talking to some friends on the phone who you could be talking to at a different time, and you'd probably just be wasting your life, in all honesty. So I'm saying this because I do this myself, meaning that I put in the work myself. So I really like seeing other people do it, and I just think in the winter, what I'm saying to everyone is do your best to keep that training up, and the consistency will pay off, because you'll be able to run times due to the fact that you have remained consistent with your training, and that you've kept to the plan, and that you haven't deviated from it just because of the time of year. So that would be my advice. And I'm also just telling you how I'm thinking about my training. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that everyone wants to get to a really, really high level, and if you just decide that you just want to keep ticking over, or that you don't have as much time to be running 4 or 5 days a week, that's absolutely fine. But I think you should be at least telling yourself, right, I'll keep it up once or twice a week. And again, I'm not telling anyone what to do, but I'm just trying to encourage people to exercise more. And if you've been telling yourself, right, I'm going to run twice a week, then really try to do that, because you made that decision to do that at a time because you considered it important. So that shouldn't really have changed. All that's maybe changed is the amount of motivation you have, and that's when discipline comes into play. And you need to try to tell yourself that you are going to be honest to the person you were at the time you made that commitment. So again, that would just be my advice there.
Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that session. I found it incredibly tough, but I really love work like that, because I feel like I'm really going to get something out of it. And I feel always that my body reacts really well to that type of training, not necessarily in the immediate aftermath of that type of training. I always find it hard to recover from physically. What I'm saying is that my legs are quite often sore for a few days after, in a way that they wouldn't be if I had been doing a threshold interval session or even a hard tempo run. But that's the good thing about that type of training. I think I am entitled to do that type of training once I've done a lot of base building, and once I really have got my aerobic conditioning to a place where I feel I can tolerate those sessions, and that my body can allow itself to recover properly from them in order to get fitter. So I really do hope you all enjoyed that, and the plan over the next few weeks is to show similar videos and similar race specific workouts, just because that is what I am going to be doing over the next 4 to 6 weeks. And again, the idea is that that can help me as much as possible in January and February when the indoor season starts, and I hope you really all do enjoy that. As I've said before, you can get all my workouts and all the training that I'm doing on Strava. I'm listed there as Patrick Sheridan. You can also find more of my content on Instagram at PatrickTheRunner97. And yeah, I'll be providing more content there. So please do follow me on that if you have Instagram. And that was really this week's video. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all are keeping up your training. I know it's getting close to Christmas time, but for me, the training's really picking up now, if anything. And I'm really, really looking forward to this indoor season. So that's going to be my focus. And I hope you all do enjoy tuning in. As always, please do feel free to ask me any questions in the comment section. Please do like the video if you enjoyed it. And please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. But I hope you all have a great week. And I will see you soon. Take care.